Hello and welcome back to another video, and in today's video I'm going to be drawing a snake. Yes, a snake. We're going to be drawing a snake, which you can somewhat see the shape. I did a little bit of an outline, a shitty outline, but a little bit of an outline. But we're going to go ahead and just get right into it. There's no need for procrastinating. So we'll just go ahead and give the snake a rough shape for what we'll want it to look like. Then add some shape over here. We just need to get a rough shape for the body down. That would probably, because of this, would need to go back a little bit. This is probably too thin. So we'll go like that. And there we go. We have a shitty little plate of a body for the snake. Now, we need to get the head shape. How do we get the head shape? Well, since the snake has its mouth open like this, it is slightly more difficult to get the head shape for the snake, but it shouldn't be too much harder than just a normal snake. So we just kind of get some shapes down, get some more shapes down, then we need to get this, which is not this is a different part. Trying to give this a little bit of perspective, but kind of failing at it, honestly. We'll do that. Go ahead and give the snake a little bit of like a, I don't know, stretchy part on the mouth. Now, where actually this... Wait, hold on. My brain is confused. That was supposed to be this line? Why did I do that? Hold on, let me erase this. I've forgotten what I was even doing. And I was putting the wrong lines in the wrong areas. Alright, we're going to go ahead and start with the bottom. There's that still there because we might still be able to salvage a little bit of that, but this is honestly not doing the best. Now, how do we actually do this? This looks very wrong. Why does this look very wrong? Where exactly is the snake's mouth supposed to meet? Well, you see, this is stuff that we're just gonna kinda have to wing it, because I don't really know. Alright, then we'll go ahead and get this part of the snake's mouth. Then go like that. There we go. Then we got this. These should line up, so we'll have to pull that back in. This, and give it a lip. Give him some fangs. Some, 3D fangs if you could. Technically I don't think we should actually be able to see the snake's tongue, but I'm going to give it a tongue because when you think of a snake, you also think of the tongue, even if technically you probably shouldn't see the tongue. So I'm gonna show the tongue, but before we show the tongue, we need to decide where the other end of the mouth is, which this one is another fang. And then this guy right here will be another fang. Go like that, just adding random shapes, trying to get this looking correct enough. Not looking amazing. not looking terrible. Hoping we can make it look better in the end. Alright. There we go. Now... actually, we should probably make that bigger, shouldn't we? This whole mouth should be bigger, really. His whole head is ginormous, but his mouth is tiny. Why'd I do that? Like, look at this, how wide his mouth actually opens. Snakes' mouths open way wider than that. A snake can open its mouth, like, really fucking wide. And I'd put his mouth, like, super narrow. Like, and this should be tucked back more, actually. Like, that little skin part. So that means this should really be, like, all the way back here. But then the tongue still needs to fit. Which the tongue will be like this. But then this needs to go back out. Because we still need to be able to see this. So then this needs to actually be right here. And this whole snake does not fit. It's currently too late in the game for me to change to a different snake now. I should have chose one without its mouth open. Or at least not one at this perspective. But we're going to have to just erase most of this and start over. Because if all of it's in the wrong spot, that is probably just the best bet. All onto the carpet it goes. Alright. How far am I into the video and I'm starting over? 7 minutes in. And it's locked focus for some reason. Oh, there goes my pencil again. Alright. Let's think about this for a second. Alright, it's been a second. Here's the snake's head. Alright, should we just close the snake's mouth and just have the snake sit here like this? We could have the snake just sit here. The snake can just sit here. There's nothing wrong with the snake just sitting here not having its mouth open. But if we do that, is that exactly what we're going to want, though? We don't want the snake to just have its mouth closed. But I can't get it to look good while it's open. Why? Why exactly can I not get it to look good while it's open? Let's go ahead and draw a triangle right here. A triangle from where the corner should be to where the edge of the mouth should be. There we go. We've got the mouth open, but how would this corner need to be? This would need to bend a little bit, but that is fine. This would need to be like this bending. Bend out. This, I need to fix that bend just a little bit. We'd have to add perspective, you know, we'd have to add like this a little bit to like make it look like the mouth is not fully from the side view. Same with this area, we'd have to do the same thing. Go like that. And we'd have to add a little bit right down here for the mouth, but then this is actually way too long. It shouldn't be that long. So we would actually need to bring this in because it's too long. So we'd need to actually bring this down to like maybe about like here. Bring that down to this size, but this actually should be tucked in even more. So then we need to get rid of all this parts. Go ahead and erase these parts too, and we can just make these better, or that's what we would need to do. So then we need to go like this to get that part right there, but then this isn't exactly how it, you know, is because of think about a snake's mouth. Is this exactly what a snake's mouth looks like? No, this isn't what a snake's mouth looks like. So we need to add some details on what a snake's mouth actually looks like, including like the inside of the mouth, but we can't forget about the details on the top involving like the snake's face and stuff. Because if we just forgot those details, then this wouldn't even be a snake. This would just be some weird creature. We'd have to give it that snake iris. Then we would have to add some detail in this part of the mouth. We'd have to erase some of the triangle and fix this part. And then realize that this looks like a fish. If we just added like bits right here and give it that looks like a fish, doesn't it? This totally looks like a fish. That's a fish. This is not a snake. This is a fish. Alright, then we'd have to go like this. Then get the body of the snake looking right. Then we would have to connect the mouth actually correctly. But that's wrong. My bad, Mr. Fishmouth. Your mouth is wrong. Alright, how are we actually supposed to do this? Okay, so this should actually fully be an angle, which means that this should also fully be an angle, which means that this is all wrong once again. Shit. Shit. We're going to try to salvage this. This should be farther out, just like this. Right. Then, like, if we were to add a flat section right here, then add the rest of the mouth, it would probably be something like this. Like this, right? But, this should actually be right here, because this is supposed to be the skin, so this would be like this, and like this. So then this still looks like a fish. Why can this not look like a snake? What am I doing wrong here? What am I doing wrong? I don't know. But it's all wrong. Alright, we're gonna keep trying because at this point it's really too late to turn back now. So let's go ahead and make this snake face a little more believable. Hold on, let me... Actually, that looks a little correct. Alright, hold on. So this should actually go like pretty much straight down. Maybe we could curve this slightly more, but yeah, not perfect. Alright, this actually, where I'm doing this is where the edge of the mouth should be. And you wonder, what are you doing? Trying to make the mouth, but correctly, because these have been wrong. So we need to make it correct. Like with this eye, this was wrong. We need to go like this, really. Then it goes around like that. Then we need to give it some more. Well, I don't need to be drawing the scales in right now. That's a problem for me in the future, who's going to really hate fucking doing that. Alright, so it's kind of like that is what it looks like. One of these little bumps being the nostril, and one of those bumps being the nostril on the other side. And then it's actually the lip, which, go ahead and just give it some random detail to try to make this actually look a little bit more like a lip, kinda. That didn't really work, but it's not too big of a deal that that didn't work. Because honestly, that fang's not perfect. This isn't exactly where it should be. This should actually probably be... Alright, hold on. Erase that stuff. Go ahead and get this line in here where it should be. Okay, yet again, not exactly how it should be. But you know what? I think that one's close enough. Now, we need to bring this line down correctly. Alright. There we go. So far, looking pretty snake-like, honestly. It looks like a snake, which is good, because that was the problem before, that it didn't look like a snake. It looked like a fish. But now it looks like a snake. So the main problem has been solved. Now we're adding some fangs. We had to remove the other one because it was kind of angled incorrectly, and now it's just drawn really poorly. And then I just straight up used the poorly drawn part as a blueprint for this part. Again, we're going to leave it for now, just because we don't need to get caught up in what the fang looks like yet. Now it is time for the part that was looking even more fucked up last time, which is going to be probably the hardest part of this entire drawing. Drawing these scales is really gonna suck. That's gonna seriously fucking suck, man. But we need to go relatively straight out and then down. And then down. And then we need to go like this, try to get a correct curve. No, we need his mouth open more than this. There needs to be a bigger gap in between his mouth. Yes. So we need to go open. We need to open that mouth. Open it. Open the mouth. has been like almost, yeah, it's been 20 minutes. Alright, let me look away from it for a sec, look at it. Alright. That top is wrong, but we're going to leave the wrongness that it is, because it's actually not that bad. This goes like this. Go ahead and grab that. There we go. Maybe we should go like that. There, that actually looks pretty good, honestly. But there, and we need to add this little lip, because yes, this is the lip. We add that right there, going into here, but then this splitting off right here onto this part of the mouth, the gums. There. God, this would have sucked to... Right, there. Then we just have the final part, and we might honestly skip the frickin' tongue. Alright. I do have a reference, by the way. I don't think I said that. I'm using reference pretty clearly. It does not have its tongue out. And its fangs are also covered by, you know, the, like, skin that covers their fangs. Like the flesh in their mouth that covers their fangs. It's covered by that, but I wanted to not do as fleshy of a mouth inside. Because, like, I don't want to. Also, I had a bit of trouble with this part right here because this snake is actually straight across right here. It's just a picture of the snake's face. Actually, there is a little bit of its body right there, so it might actually be coiled since it is just its face. I can't really tell. That could also be why I'm messing up the mouth, now that I think about it. We're not going to think about it, though. Because it does not matter. It's not something that matters to drawing the snake right now. I mean, actually, technically, I think that does matter, but yet again, it doesn't matter. We don't need to worry about the actual body of the snake until we start drawing scales. That's gonna really suck, isn't it? Yes, it is. I bet future me is going to regret doing this. And going to wish that I just skipped the snake today. Alright. And this. Alright. And to think, I almost just drew a couple undetailed, silly little cartoon snakes today. And then I was like, I'm gonna draw an actual snake because it won't be that hard and it could look really cool. And I've been meaning to see how difficult it is to actually draw tons of scales. And I now regret all of my life choices. All of them. That led me to this point. Alright. We're going to go like this. And go like that. Perfect. That's not really perfect, is it? Like at all. So we're actually going to go ahead and erase. Whoopsies. We're going to go ahead and erase this before it gets too carried away. Alright, so this should actually be back in the mouth, you know, tongues are in the back of your mouth. For the sake of this, I guess it's kind of pressed up against that side of his mouth. Why? I do not have an answer for that, but... Alright. Now this can be correct. This. Then it will go down. Then we will need to add this part, which is this part of the tongue, which will come out, also showing this part getting stuck on the skin. Alright, we'll go like this, and then it'll be like this. Yeah, I don't like that at all. Looks boring. We might not do the tongue. We might grab a reference for the tongue, actually. Who knows? Who knows? Someone who skipped ahead or saw the short or the post first would know. Because then they would have seen what the drawing looks like finished first. They cheated. They know what the drawing looks like. How dare you cheat? Shame. We need to not really point those, but honestly, I feel like this is fine. Is it amazing, great, wonderful, whimsical? None of those would describe this. But it's fine. He says, but then he erases. Alright, that's actually a lot better, I think. I think that was worth the erasing. Okie dokie. Now I think that part of the mouth looks a little better, but we do actually kind of need to shade this. Should we even worry about shading right now? I don't know. Are we even done with most of this drawing? I don't know. I'm too scared to look back at the reference to see what this snake is still missing. I don't want to look back at the reference. I don't want to see what the snake is missing. I say that and then I erase something that didn't necessarily need to be erased. I could have just honestly left that be. It wasn't perfect, but it wasn't bad. I could have left that. Alright. There, now we need to draw this eye correctly this time. Last time I was kind of just making shit up, honestly, wasn't even looking at the reference. But this time I'm doing the same thing. This time I'm doing the same thing, but I'm saying that I'm doing it. Alright. Go like this, then add that, kind of making the eye look a little angry-ish. Then we need to add this, the eyeball. Which honestly, we can keep that super thick line around it. Now, how do the eyes... Okay, we're not doing a super detailed snake eye, because it would just be fucking crazy. The most amount of detail it's getting is lines kind of in all directions around it, which honestly looks pretty good. Not amazing, but that's pretty good. We're also going to do this because I feel like this, yeah, that's a little more accurate. Not perfect, but I think that looks pretty good. Alright, I made that bridge a little bit too big. Now it's a little short. Now it's good enough. This part could definitely be smaller right here, actually. but then it makes that part look big again, but you know, that's fine. Let's go ahead and try to make this look like it's wrapped around a little more by narrowing that tail. Go ahead and add some more detail right here. Being just some straight lines, which we may texture these lines with scales later. I can't guarantee these lines will get textured. They will get scales, but I don't know if I'm gonna add the scales like all over the whole thing, like super detailed, like, I don't know. Alright, that's not exactly, you know, perfect. That's not correct. You are wrong. We don't like things that are wrong. Alright. There we go. Now, that's a little better. That's not bad, so we'll go ahead and keep this, honestly. Probably could have went down a little more. Going like this, kind of. Can I do that stuff? And that. Go like this. There we go. There. Oh, that's good enough. Kind of looks a little awkwardly shaped because these lines don't fully match up, but they're not supposed to fully match up, but they don't match up as much as I wanted them to. There. Now this mouth, honestly, is pretty good in terms of what I was able to get. Or what I was doing beforehand, I mean. But I never finished this eye. Need to add an area around it, which this area around it right here should actually be affected by the scales. But there's an area around it that is not being touched by scales. Alright. We're gonna cut to time lapse now because really all this is just gonna be me adding scales. So yeah. This is gonna take so long. Bye. Alrighty. I gave up. I like how this looks. It's not perfect. My light is dimming. But it looks pretty good. Alright, bye-bye.